Great. Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear visitors, dear old friends, dear new people with new faces, but been knowing you for a year and a half or something. Always very nice and interesting to see people coming in live in our live sessions. Due to COVID time, we didn't have the opportunity to do that for at least a year almost. So we're still recovering and meeting face to face and having a live audience and not only the Zoom conference. On behalf of that, I would like to invite you and welcome you to our 140th meeting of the Toastmasters Club. Me being the current president, opening this up, but not being the host of the day, because the host of the day is going to be our Toastmaster, our latest member, Konstantin Kuts. And Konstantin, in a minute, will guide you through the overall program of the day so that you have an idea what to expect and when it's going to. Okay, there we go. Give a round of applause to welcome to the Toastmaster of...
Dear Toastmasters and guests, today we celebrate Russia Day in Toastmasters. And according to Wikipedia page, the day commemorates the adaptation of Declaration of Sovereignty of Russia. So basically it's the Independence Day. But have you ever thought the independence from who? Like, because the last time Russia been under the rule of another country was probably across 13th, 15th centuries. Then it was a Mongol Tatar invasion. And since that time passed like 500 years and we never been under rule of someone. But in any way, when I hear the words, the Independence Day, I imagine Will Smith at the head of the Chaser plan, ruthlessly fighting alien invaders. And maybe because we do not have such a viral movie of our own, we do not have an idea about this day. So maybe we shall approach Mikhalkov and shoot the movie starring Sasha Petrov. Then we will have an idea about this day. Moving on to our agenda. Today we have 3 speakers with prepared speeches. It's a great opportunity for our speakers to share with us their ideas and inspirations about the topics they choose. And the speech limit is limited to 5 to 7 minutes. After that, we will have table topics led by Alexander Kim, our seasoned Toastmaster. And during this section, you, our guests, and also members will have an opportunity to raise your hand and volunteer to deliver an impromptu speech. Impromptu speech is limited to 2 to 3 minutes, but not less than 1. And you can give an impromptu speech on a given topic. At the third part, the salt and pepper of our meeting is evaluation section, led by our Toastmaster Roman. In this section, all our contestants will have an opportunity to receive an immediate feedback and apply this knowledge for the further better performance. Later, we will conclude the meeting with giving the awards to better presenters, and after we will conclude the meeting. So, Roman, can you please introduce us, your team, and tell a few words about your role?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Today we have an evaluation team. By the way, Toastmaster is all about improvement, and to improve we need feedback and evaluation. So today there is a team who will help me to evaluate everything. There is a quiz master, Anna. So quiz master is here. Okay. So you are quiz master, okay? Please introduce your role.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. My name is Anastasia, not Anna, but it really doesn't matter. I have been Toastmasters for quite a long time, and all of a sudden I have never taken this role, Quizmaster. That's an amazing role, introduced like 1.5 years ago by Randal to our club. That's all about checking your active listening. So at the end of the meeting, I will give you 6 to 10 questions about what you have heard throughout the meeting. And your goal is actually just to give the correct answer. Why do we do this? Because we not only want to check grammar, not only want to get new information, not only want to meet each other here in person or develop, we also want to develop our active listening. So nothing different is here, but it can be fun. Let's see at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. So we proceed, and we have a couple of more roles, which is timer, and who is Walter Schwarz. Walter, please, can you introduce your role?
Yes, thank you very much, Roman. It's a quick one for me. My role as a timer is small, but sometimes important due to the fact that we always have restricted time by delivering a speech. I will give you some signs to remind you when you speak, not for the audience. When you are in your time, you'll have a green card. When you are close to the end of your time, say a minute, then you'll see the yellow light. And when you're done, then you are red zone. We have a buffer of plus 30 seconds above, and then you should come to an end. Why is that? Because our speakers who are going to be delivering speeches today, they all have a certain time frame, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, depending on their project they're doing. And I will be looking at this from our agenda and showing him the signs when they should come to an end. Okay? Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Walter.
Back to you.
Yeah, back to you. You can go to your seat, and then we can introduce the second role. And the second role of Walter is grammarian. So Walter, please come back and introduce the next role.
Roman, what a pleasure. Thank you very much. A grammarian, I will be listening to you for speaking during delivery of some speeches in terms of English phrases, in terms of words or verbs, which can be improved, okay? Because it's interesting to understand that people are listening to what you say. And when everything's fine, people are not focused to it, what you say wrongly. And that's just a hint to remind people that some things can be wrong, and I will pinpoint that. I'm not a native speaker in English, so that's okay. So there was not a lot to expect. Nonetheless, apart from that, I will also deliver the word of the day. And this is also an active listening skill. And for the word of the day, we will have it today. I think our Toastmaster Konstantin did put it. It is the good old independence. Now, with the independence, does everyone understand the meaning of independence, or does it need to be explained?
It depends.
It depends, or independent. Oh, independent. You see, it's called, what's it called? It's a multitasking. Males cannot multitask. They can only do one thing, speaking or writing. Independence. Yes, that's what I said straight away. Independence. Sounds French, probably comes from the French. Independence is you are not dependent on someone else in your thinking, acting, and so forth. Your task is to use the word while delivering your speeches, and then for us, once you hear that, give a round of applause again as a trigger. Oh, that's the word of the day we use. Okay, good to go. That's for me as a grammarian. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Walter.
Roman.
You are now independent from the other roles. Okay, so actually we have usually we have more roles, but I think because this is good weather today, so many people moved to their dacha, and now they are under rain, and we're here, dry in comfort. And there will be evaluators of the speeches, whom I will introduce later. And I will also evaluate everything that will not be evaluated by other people. And I will come back here later during the evaluation session and will pull my evaluation team here to give their report. So now I go back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay, let me proceed with today's agenda. And the first item on our agenda is prepared speeches. It's the section where we will hear 3 beautiful speeches from our speakers. And the first speaker of today is Alan Akamba, joining us from Moscow. Alan Akamba, are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. And in my industry, in the oil and gas industry, integrity is something we have to do very often. And that's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. According to NTS Energy, a global oil and gas digital solutions, and according to the BP, the British Petroleum Statistical Review of 2020, Russia produces 11.5 million barrels of crude oil every day. That's about 12% of the total global oil production. Think about it, 12%. So living in Russia and having lived in Africa, I saw a business opportunity. So I turned to my friend, Arthur. I said, Arthur, you manufacture oil and gas drilling equipment here in Russia. I have worked in Africa and I have personal contacts in Nigeria where there was a massive demand of oil and gas drilling equipment. Why don't we team up? Why don't we partner and start a business here? And that's what we did. We sat down, we wrote a business plan, and I reached out to my contact in Nigeria. And I said, Mark, I know you have drilling operations going on down there in Nigeria. Let's talk about how I can help your operations. I can supply drilling equipment that will help you decrease your downtime, cut your costs, and make more money for your business. Let's talk about it. I waited, and he said nothing. A few days later, he sent me a message on WhatsApp, sent me your proposal. So the next day I sent him a proposal. Then I said, let's talk about it, to no avail. Then he sent me a few words a few days later saying, in order to become our vendor, you're gonna need a big strategy and kickback. I tried to speak with him, but I couldn't. And I was frustrated because I was not able to speak to my friend. And on the other hand, I was losing my credibility in front of my partners because I was not making progress in Africa. That didn't stop me. I kept my plan and vision in mind. My plan was to get the first tool to Nigeria, get a field trial, get the first purchase order, and then grow the business from there. And my vision is to expand, to create a supply chain between Russia, where there's a lot of manufacturing, and Nigeria, the first producer of oil in Africa. So I found a local representative in Nigeria, and thanks to that, we were able to ship the first tool thanks to the money from our investor and get the first tool to Nigeria. The tool did a great job on the rig. The rig is the structure where drilling operations go on. And we were able to generate customer confidence and the first purchase order. So from this experience, I've learned that, and that's a message I have for you, dear Toastmasters. Don't let corrupt officials stifle your entrepreneurial drive. Don't let the obstacles you're going to meet along the way stifle your dynamism. Also, as I was able to do, I was able to transform a kickback asker into a long-term business partner. And that's what I would like you to consider. Next time you come across a corrupt individual who's asking for kickback, think about how you can transform him exactly from what I said, from someone asking for a kickback into someone you can work with. It's a very creative process, And that can make the person independent also from the income they have where they are. So as a close here, my call to action is next time you have something you want to achieve in mind, don't be naive. It's true that there's corruption around, but don't let that stop your project. Don't let that stop your plans. And as I said in the beginning, I leave you with the last thought that integrity is what you do when nobody is watching. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Alan. It was a nice speech. It's always nice to hear from you. And is it cool now? Can I speak? Yeah, it's cool. As you might say from Alan's appearance, we are in the same team with him today. And also we have a saying in Russia that between the second and the first, the break is quite short. So let me introduce our second speaker, who is Randal Eastman, and his speech project is also an innovative speaker project. The title is Carrots and with Sticks, and he will share with us some of his experience and reflect on his experience. So please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. How many of you are familiar with the expression to use a carrot or a stick? Imagine for yourself that you're a farm boy or a farm girl. And on your farm, you have a goat. We'll call him Gary the goat. Gary looks a little bit like this. He's got a little grayish pointy beard, and he is stubborn as a goat. Every day, you have two ways in which you can try to motivate Gary to move forward. You can dangle a tasty carrot in front of him, or you can whack him on the behind with a stick. Which is most effective? Well, the reality is it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Today, I want to share with you some experience gleaned over 3 decades of my own personal experience leading companies and clubs. And I can break this down into 3 distinct segments. One, my experience in the military and the Navy when I was serving as officer of the watch and I had control over my ship and its crew. 2, my time in China in my company when I managed a team of about 300 staff across our chain of 12 different day spas. And number 3, my experience in half a dozen different clubs that I've either founded or led over the years in Toastmasters or in Rotary. In each of these circumstances, a different application of carrot or stick was in order. So let's start with the first, in the Navy. In the Navy, basically, we have no carrots, only sticks. We're all subject to military law and very strict discipline. We have a set of very clear rules and regulations that we must follow. We have a strict hierarchy and chain of command. And even a young junior officer like Sub-Lieutenant Eastman could actually be put in a position of authority when he's serving as officer of the watch to have command and control over the ship and its crew. And if, when I'm serving as officer of the watch, I make an order, it has to be followed. There's no equivocation. There's no need for any carrots. It just has to be done. There is an implicit big looming stick behind if someone doesn't implement that. But as I said, we have no carrots. A company is something quite different. And it requires the careful and skilled use of both carrots and sticks. Even in China, in a company, this is the case. And in China, hierarchy, authority is well respected within society and within a company. The boss is expected to make decisions and the staff are expected to follow. And they do, but they don't always follow the orders to the letter.
And so it's necessary to use both carrots and sticks to keep our shops in good working order. Otherwise, they'll become sloppy. Typically, in our shops, the most effective tool we could use to keep our frontline staff in order was a stick, and that would be a financial penalty or a fine. But we also had some tasty carrots that we could wave in front of them, which are the sales targets and bonuses. So the reality is, in a company in China, we actually use carrots and sticks in combination. Volunteer organizations are something very, very different. When you're leading a volunteer organization, you basically have no sticks and only can hope to have some nice, tasty carrots. Volunteers, leading a group of volunteers is different from running a company or commanding a ship, because people are here by their own free will. People can come and go as they please. They join the club, but they could leave tomorrow. They could quit the club without any penalty themselves and without giving you any notice. So you must strive to retain them, to keep them engaged so that they see their own personal benefit in being part of the club. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier today, the leadership in a club changes quite frequently. And in our case, it changes every year. This can be a challenge. One reason it can be a challenge is because the incoming team maybe isn't chosen by the incoming leader. So the leader may be stuck. Well, let's not say stuck. The leader may be given a handful of people to fill different roles who are not the most ideally suited for each role. But people are volunteering, and so you have to work with what you have and encourage the members to learn up on their roles to become more effective. In this process, if you've got new leaders coming into a club, you must train them. But if you're a small club or a young club, you may not have a pool of experienced members, trainers, or mentors who can engage in that training process. And so bootstrapping or self-education is going to be more required. Another factor is that the volunteers coming into your club, they come from many different professions, many different vocations. They are experienced in their workplace using certain tools, but they may be all using different tools. And in order to collaborate effectively, you may want to introduce some new tool, and it may be difficult to motivate people to adopt it. So you must find some way to do so. So leading a club is different from leading a company where people work for you, or a ship where people are forced to obey your commands. You must find ways to entice them to do what you want. And so you must become an effective cultivator of carrots. You must be able to offer to your members carrots that are going to attract them to go in the direction you want. And that may include things like giving them continual praise. It could be recognizing their personal accomplishments. It could be rewarding them for achieving club goals. It could be through engaging them in interesting activities, or helping them to sharpen new skills that they can take back into their workplace and use in their careers. So I believe that if you are leading a club, if you can become skilled at the use of carrots, by the end of your term of office, you will leave behind a herd of happy, healthy, and satiated, let's say, independent goats. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Randal, for this outstanding delivery and very thoughtful reflection on your past. Moving on, the last prepared speech for today is from Malashin. A few words about Roman. Roman lives all his life in Russia. He prefers to give short answers and never settle to change only one thing, because Roman doesn't play around. Roman's project is research and presenting of unfamiliar topic, and his speech title is Bhutan, GDP or GNH. So let us hear something about GDP or GNH from Roman. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. We used to care a lot about economy when we talk about well-being of a country, of a particular country, we used to talk a lot about average income, median income, how many houses are built, how many cars are sold. But does the economy itself make people happier? Professor Tom Mullen from the University of Ohio says that actually there is a paradox: income without happiness. According to the data, in the developed countries, the economy grows, but the happiness stays on the same level. So today, I'm going to talk about the country whose government decided to change it. And instead of economy, they measure happiness. Let's talk about Bhutan. So can you please share this slide? So Bhutan actually is a very small country in the South Asia. It's situated between China, India, and Nepal. Its population is less than 1 million people. It's hard to get there for tourists because it's expensive, but the traveler, Tom Mullen, from the Forbes.com said that it's a very special country. Hunting, fishing, and smoking is forbidden there. You even can't climb high mountains because spirit dwell there. But what makes Bhutan so special is not the very interesting traditions and very specific customs and beauty of the highland, but its government philosophy. In 1972, the fourth king of Bhutan decided to think about the philosophy of his country. He thought about the economy of other people, of other countries, and he understood that most of the countries strive for economy. They wanted the economy to grow, but as the result, many people who do not have great income find themselves in poverty, misery, and social isolation. So what he decided is to change that. He proclaimed, gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product, or GNH is more important than GDP. GDP is actually the usual term in economy that it used to measure how successful is country in economy. And in Bhutan, they actually implemented this. They built a system which measures the GNH index, the index of the happiness of the people. And the government is judged by this index. According to the Jeffrey Brooks, the professor, there are 4 pillars upon which GNH is based on. First is the sustainable and equitable economy. Second is ecology, environment, and preservance of the environment. Third one is the preservance and promotion of culture and heritage. And the fourth one is good governance. So was Bhutan successful in this? Yes, at least partially. Let us compare 3 countries, Russia, US, and Bhutan. Russia has GDP that is 3 times bigger than Bhutan's. US has GDP that 9 times bigger than Bhutan's. So the economy is larger. But according to different indexes, it appeared that this is not so obvious which country is better. For example, according to the corruption index by the Transparency Agency, Bhutan ranks 24th, US ranks 25th, and Russia ranks 129. Yeah. And according to the peaceful indexes by the University of European Economy, the Bhutan ranked 15th, while US ranked 129, and Russia ranks 154. Yes, and for example, Bhutan is very good in solving some problems, for example, coronavirus. In the magazine of Atlantic, Madeline Drexler actually is amazed how the poor country, agriculture country, was able to cope with the coronavirus, suffering only 1 death for the whole country. They were pretty successful. Of course, GNH is not a magic pillar. So that's why there is a lot of criticism on it. For example, in the magazine of Wave, the author claims that GNH or of happiness index is based on the unreliable data that is not quantifiable. And that's why it is just used as a propaganda tool for the government that use it to hide the massive ethnic cleansing in the country. That's the case, and the Economist journal in 2004 says that the Bhutan is not an idyll in a fairy tale, because most of the people live in poverty. More than that, according to the happiness index, both Russia and US go above Bhutan. So what is actually the GNH? What is it? So is it a hoax, or maybe some future of the humanity? You decide by yourself. So I just mentioned that in 2012, the UN passed the resolution that actually says that the happiness is the ultimate goal of humanity. And she urged all the members to follow the Bhutan path and to measure the happiness index. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yeah, GNH index sounds pretty unfamiliar for me, so I guess Roman. Yeah. Stop, yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on, and thank you for shedding the light on this unfamiliar topic. I'm pretty sure not everyone here heard the term before. Mr. Timer, can you please confirm that all the speakers can be evaluated for the contest?
Thank you very much, Konstantin. You need to speak louder now because we have the windows open. That's why we have to compete with some tourists driving around the boats over there. Oh, you want to close it or open it? Yeah, whichever way. Just use your force. Try it. Just do the Russian. There we go. You see, I learned in Russia sometimes it works. That's personal note. My deliverance of the Times Speeches report is to make sure that everyone is actually valid and able to be voted upon from the three speakers which we come to. I report Alan has delivered his speech in 5 minutes and 58, which makes him accountable for being in the vote. Randal delivered his speech in 6 minutes and 56, spot on, which makes him green light to participate in the vote. And Roman has delivered a speech in 6 minutes 01, which is also right in the vote section. Back to you, Konstantin.
Thank you. And now moving on, we can, as all the participants are qualified for the ballot voting, can I please, Alexander, to conduct the ballot voting? So please use your phone, scan the QR code, and vote for the one speaker you decide were the most presenting and successful in his project. Okay, everyone is in the place, or almost. Almost. My sound is on, right? Can you guys hear us? Rami? Yeah, Alan, everyone is here. Cool. The next item of our agenda is table topics. As I said previously, it's the tremendous opportunity of you, our guests, and also our members, to experience what is it like to perform your speech in front of a live audience. So please volunteer for our speeches and raise your hand and take this opportunity. Because here in Toastmasters, we're not only listeners, we also speakers, and we need to strive for developing this skill. So I'm giving the pass to our table topics master, Alexander. Please.
Table topics. Table topics master is the most important role in any Toastmaster meeting, of course, and I will be leading that role today. So table topics is all about impromptu speaking. Impromptu speaking is thinking on your feet. So basically how it works is that you are given a question and you have to start answer this question immediately. You have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. If you speak longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. Nothing really bad will happen, but you will not be good for the vote. Russia Day is the theme of a meeting, so I decided to make some questions that people ask about Russia, and I want to see how well Russians can answer questions about Russia. So without further ado, I would like to invite first volunteer. Please raise your hand if you want. What is your name?
My name is George.
George. Now you will see questions right on the screen. You see the screen anywhere? A bunch of questions that people ask about Russians. So you can choose any of those questions and answer it for 1 to 2 minutes.
All about smiling, actually, except cheers. I don't know. I disagree with that. Who said Russians don't smile? Russians usually smile. They do smile. If you smile at someone in the street, they smile back, and that's a common thing. I don't know, maybe in some, I don't know, rush hour in subway, you don't see many smiling face, but look at yourself, you're not smiling also when you're speeding up to work and stuff. So yeah, that's not true. Russians are smiling, and pretty often, I would say. Okay, that's good enough.
Hey, yeah, sure. So if you speak for 1 minute, Walter will show a green card, 90 seconds yellow card, and 2 minutes red card. Yeah. Basically, like in football, you get out of. Yeah. Second volunteer. I've been listening to Randal for a couple of years now, so please. Do you want to take any question from there? Or
similar, no?
I can give you another question.
The last one is fine.
Would you like to answer it?
Sorry?
Would you like to answer it? Yes, no?
No,
No,
let's
okay.
do something else.
How Russian are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
So that's the topic, right?
Yeah, and your name, please?
Dmitry. Okay. So, all right, I'm starting, I guess. So, ladies and gents, let me start with I would like to explore on the question what defines Russian, I think, because that's the only way to decide to evaluate my Russians. I think what makes Russian is the language, right? In the first place, and in that case, I'm totally Russian. And then also, what makes Russian is the culture. And I was born here, and I was brought up in this country, which again makes me like 100% Russian. Another thing is basically. Well, I think those two things are sort of crucial in order to decide. So I think I would evaluate my Russianness like maybe, I don't know. It sounds like it should be 10 score. It should be 10, right? But I do feel like maybe 8 something. It's just the feeling, but like I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be 10 anyway. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Randal,
Oh,
how Russians sneeze?
how Russians sneeze? I'm not going to look at the screen. I'm going to look right here. You tell me the question. You give me the question.
Okay. Why do Russians look Asian?
Why do Russians look Asian?
That's not me asking. A lot of people are asking that.
No, okay, but that's my question. You're asking me. Why do Russians look Asian? Well, I think, as Kostya said, it's because of the alien invasion that happened in the 11th century. And it was this incredible mix of bloods with people coming from Asia, which made up Russia. I am not an expert in Russian history or culture. It's certainly not the language. I know my way a little bit around Saint Petersburg. And I have one interesting observation I made a year ago. I went to Kuts. And I went there to meet an old man who was the grandfather of Rotary in Russia. And I was disappointed when I came to Irkutsk. It was February and it was only minus 15 degrees. And I had bought all of this heavy equipment, heavy boots, big fat coat, gloves that were like this big, and it was only minus 15 degrees. So I didn't need them all. But I was walking down the street and it was a bit brisk, so it was a bit frosty. And what really shocked me was how Asian Irkutsk was, how mixed it was. And I give you this perspective as a Canadian. We are very multicultural, but we're not that multiculturally mixed with the people who live in the far north of our country, who are Inuits like Chukchi, and who have very Asiatic looks. And as I was walking down in the center of Irkutsk, nearby the university, I was really impressed by how really mixed the crowd was, the young people who were just hanging out with each other, walking to or from university, and how many of them had very, very, I would say, North Asian faces, physiognomies, which was very different from Canada. And I thought, wow, this place is really cool, that everybody is going to university, they're studying engineering, whatever, they're completely equal. And so that is my observation about the Asianness of Russia. And of course, the vast size of the country, most of the country is in Asia. So that's probably a good reason too. Right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Victor. Yeah, this lady in front.
What's your name, lady?
Lera.
Yeah, Valeria, please choose any question you want.
It's hard to choose.
Pick one, just out of the blue.
Bonus points if you answer all of them.
Okay. I'm gonna answer why Russians are good at hacking. It's very close to me. This topic is really close to me because I'm getting a degree in applied mathematics and informatics. And I think the reason why Russians are good at hacking is because they have a lot of practice, because they don't afraid of making mistakes, and they get another try and again and again and again, because they are not used to give up. Also, I think that coding is something that really interests. It's very interesting for people, not only Russians, but it is like a good problem that needs to be solved. And Russians really like to solve problems. For example, we have lots of scientists because Russians want to know fundamental rules of things, and they want to break down the rules also. So I think the last thing is the reason Russians are good at hacking, because they want to break rules.
Thank you. And last one, Anastasia. Welcome, Anastasia.
Or
Which
do you
one?
have,
Sure.
or do you have more tweaking?
I have 3,000 questions.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you can choose.
Can I go on with the why Russian are beautiful?
So,
Thank you. So when Valeria was talking, I've noticed that she was saying they, Russians they, but in my speech answering the question why Russians are beautiful, I would say we. And particularly, don't be disappointed, the major of the audience are men, but I would answer the question, why are Russian women so beautiful? And I truly believe that is true, and that is recognized worldwide, that Russian women are, it might be Ukrainian, I consider to be the most beautiful women in the world. And you know, a friend of mine moved to Europe a few years ago, and many young people want to move to Europe, and it's interesting how things are there and what is normal there and all this. And you know, they don't iron their t-shirts. They don't iron their socks. I don't know whether you do this or not, but some people definitely do this. I've heard about this. It's not me. So it's said that in Europe, they don't care that much about how they look like. They just wear clean t-shirt, and that's enough. You're beautiful at this moment. For Russians, the standard of beauty is somewhere here. You wear the golden earrings, you go to your manicurist, and those are the best manicurists in the world, just for your notice as well. And you pay so much attention to the way we look like. That's why we are the most beautiful. So if you are not Russian and want to get a foreign wife, but it's not important for you, the quality of the person, not the personality is important, but the way she looks like, grab a Russian one. Thank you.
Since Anastasia took one of those questions, I have another pack of questions. If anybody is confident. No? No? Would you like? Actually, this is a question for Russians.
For Russians, okay.
Because only Russians do that. So the question is the first one: why Russians use parentheses instead of regular, emojis, smile emojis?
Oh. Thank you very much for the question. When I sit there and looking at these questions, I said, wow, they are very, very easy. I know the exact answer for every question here in the list. And this is not an exception. I know the exact answer. The answer, okay, again, is the mentality. So just count how many calories you need to put a smile from the package, right? You need to click, click, click. While if you hold Shift and this button, you immediately get the emotion. And if you want many emotions, you just keep pressing this button, right? Yeah, and you can scale your emotion easily. So basically, I don't know what to say. It's actually the basically exact correct answer to this question. Thank you very much.
I guess it kind of makes sense because Russians' beauty standards are high. You have to count your calories, so you want to make sure you don't get fat, right? Okay, I'd like to hear a timer's report.
Yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 participants. I have 6 participants.
Yeah, Roman is number
Right.
Everybody knows Roman.
6 participants, and the times are George, the first one who kicked it off, had 30 seconds. Unfortunately, doesn't not participate in the voting because you need to have at least a minute or something to be voted for. Okay, it's not nothing personal. It's just a rule of the game. Don't be too sad. In 2 weeks we have another go. Okay, don't look at me like that. Okay. Dimitri with 150 is good to go. Randal with 185 almost made it not, but did. Valeria with 133 is good to go as well. Anastasia with 153, very nicely. And Roman with 045. It's a bit too short. You should elaborate on the explanation of the intelligence, you know. Then we'll be good to go.
I don't want to make the idea of the exit answer. So
Yeah.
I need to sacrifice.
Yeah. However, we have 4 participants to go for the vote for the direct poll just right now. My question, handing back over to the Toastmaster, are you creating the vote now, or are you doing what?
They're playing computer games.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. Go outside.
So do we have a poll?
Yes, my question is, am I doing the poll, or are you doing this already?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Good. Then I do the poll. Yes, that will be 1 second. Now, you know the procedure. We're creating the poll, updating the table topic section, and then I'll put it on the screen for you so you can prepare your mobile phones. Now, there you go. There we go. Need to kill 2 people out of the. So you're playing. I'm not playing game. I'm setting up the vote. We're going for independence. Dimitri. Come on. Yeah, we definitely need to have some music for those sessions. Yeah.
What about you need some music right now?
I mind. Someone else, Joe? Yeah. Anastasia. There's Asia in your name. I just realized actually. In the Russian name. You know. Okay.
I should have chosen another question to answer.
There you go. Save the ball. And then we have the vote.
Just vote? Or just vote? Because I'm already voted.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Now, we check. Yeah. Now, you should see the girl now. And use your mobile phone, face it to the screen. What's going on with that? Guys, anything? No? No? Okay. Does it work? Let me know.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Take your stand for a couple of seconds. Dear online audience, please make sure you use the vote as well. Randal, does it work for you? Good. Okay. I think it's looking good for us in the offline world, online world. Does it look good for you, Rami? Give me a yes if you voted already. Thank you. Back to you, dear Mr. Toastmaster.
And here is the next item of our agenda, is the salt and pepper of today's meeting, the evaluation section. The evaluation section will be led by Roman, and he will introduce himself and also his team one by one. So please, Roman.
Hello, thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. And we are moving to the evaluation session. There were 3 speeches today, and the evaluator of the first speech is Walter. Yeah, come here.
Thank you very much, Roman. There we go. That should look good. Alan, are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Why am I asking? Because I'm going to be evaluating the speech of Alan just right now. Alan is in his kickoff first speech of his new path, and his purpose was to deliver a speech which applies to his leadership role. His focus was
Second speech.
Oh, second. Okay, sorry. The plan says first, nonetheless, second. What there is we need to evaluate now Alan on delivering his plan of providing us his plan of his project. And what did he do and how well did he do on that? Dear Alan, I have to say that you kicked it off with a great opening, bringing the audience into the setting of your very personal idea of your business. You've kicked us off with explaining very nicely that you had a friend and you wanted to deliver with him a shared idea and explain it. That was very nice and I loved it because you did it in a very structured manner. The way you spoke was very clear. I think the audience could hear everything, and how you behave, even in the online world, it is very tricky, you know that, to grasp people online who are sitting in live stream and in the live session. I believe you managed very, very well on that. On that, above all, a minute before you finished the journey you delivered, I was writing the note of what to improve, dear Ellen. And then I was writing, Ellen should be a little bit more personal and asking the question, why is that interesting to the audience? After I've written that down, he kicked it off and said, now back to you, dear audience. My lessons learned for you is do not be demotivated by corporates, restrictions, and other errors which you might experience when approaching your very past. So you've delivered at the end of the day also a direct call to action to the audience, which I find is a very, very good and superb close of gestalt for all people who are interested in psychology, right? And that makes things go very round. So I need to give you a big thumbs up, Alan, on your delivery. One can tell that you've been an experienced Toastmaster for quite a while. Thank you very much and looking forward to see more of you. All the best.
Thank you very much, Walter, for your evaluation. And we proceed. The second speaker of today was Randal, and his evaluator is Tatenda Zhou. Please welcome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So today I will be evaluating Randal's speech. So his project was Understanding Your Leadership Style. And the title of his speech was What Works Best, the Carrot or the Stick? So the things that I really liked about Randal's speech was, so he managed to take 3 different stories and integrate them all into his speech. Usually that's actually quite difficult considering the amount of time that you have. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. So the 3 things that he integrated were his experience in the military, time in China, managing about 300 people, and leadership experience in Rotary and other clubs. So things that Randal excelled in were was great eye contact. So throughout his speech, he managed to look at the guy sitting over there, everyone in the crowd, and even the guys who were sitting over here. And he kept doing that consistently throughout his speech, looking at almost everyone in the eye, at least from my own point of view. The next thing that I think maybe, yes, and then the next thing was there was a great level of comfort that I could see. Probably this comes from doing so many speeches and just the general experience that you have like in Toastmasters. And at the beginning of your speech, I liked the story that you shared about Gary the Ghost. It was very good icebreaker. It makes it easy for everyone to kind of quickly, you know, relate to what exactly you're trying to kind of say. Things that I think maybe you could work on are your movement and general tone of your speech. So movement, I'm not talking about your hands, because your hands, that was brilliant. I can't really kind of mention anything, but maybe use the movement of the stage. So maybe moving forward when you want to illustrate a point, rather than staying in the same place and just using your hands and eyes and so forth. Another thing that I noticed was, and these are very subtle things. I'm not in any way complaining because it was very hard to find the things that I think maybe you could improve, was maybe when you are speaking, sometimes you tend to look somewhere over here and people can actually see that you're kind of remembering what to say. So what I can say is maybe when you're preparing, rather write down, probably you're already doing this, but this is how I went about it myself, was write down the topics that you want to cover during the speech so that you only need to remember that. And in your speech, all you're doing is you're just using words that come to you at that moment, which makes it easier. So you have less things to generally remember. But all in all, I think great job. Again, very difficult to find things that you should improve because you practically excelled in everything that I could see. So thank you very much, Randal.
Thank you very much, Tatenda, for this nice evaluation. So, and we proceed. The third speaker today was me, and evaluator is Rami Saeed. Can you hear me, Rami?
Yes, excellent. Yeah.
So, stage is yours.
Before I start, I just want to see the timer. Where is the timer? I cannot see. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you. Okay, we can start now. Okay, Raman, I would like to congratulate you for the excellent structured speech. I really liked the title and content of what you've presented. However, we'll have to do it more on the outer structure level and delivery. So the purpose of your project is to learn and research a new topic to you and to present what you found out. So that's the goal. And I believe that you have succeeded at that. The structure of the speech was very clear. I can see your beginning, I can see the main inside and the conclusion. And I could see how you started taking us through a journey path. I really felt that you were holding my hands. You were taking me and showing me the Bhutan, showing me how beautiful it is as a place, what they do different, the GNH, the GDP, and you've compared Russia, which is something we're all familiar with, and the US. The examples were very clear and understandable and relatable to us. One of the things that you're working on is the hand gesture and your posture. I believe you've excelled at that. You were very well posed. You were very comfortable. Your hands were not distracting. You were able to deliver your points excellently. And your voice was very clear. I saw how you were looking at everyone, keeping your eye contact. You were judging the audience, how they are responding to you, and you were changing your speed and volume. And even sometimes I felt that you were going off track from your original structure to accommodate the people that are there based on their reactions, which is very excellent. What you might want to work on in the future on your particular project, you are, since you're presenting a research topic, you might want to show with your sources. So that's one thing that you might want to show. A second thing, I felt that there was a disconnection between you and the topic. It's like I felt that you were not committed. You were detached from it. Perhaps you didn't use pronouns of I think, I believe, or something. And also you did not take a position on the topic. You were quite indifferent. You were giving, especially at the end, in the conclusion, you were telling us, okay, here is, you decide, what do you think? Okay, what's GNH and something. So I felt a little lost also at the end. So in the future, it's better to have a clear position, okay, or that you want us to be sold on, okay, what you're trying to prove. At least this makes it a little more effective, that you're pro GNH, pro Bhutan, pro Russia, because I felt a little confused at the end. So that's the things. Keep it up, and you are one of the most senior presenters in our club, and I'm thankful for having the chance to evaluate you. Back to you. Thank you.
again, it was very useful evaluation for me. I can judge about it, but right now we need to judge about evaluators. So let's evaluate evaluators and vote for the best evaluator. So Walter, can you please share us this wonderful QR code when you will be ready?
Yes, please bear with me 1 second.
No problem.
There we go.
And yeah, Walter is a very busy person today, actually. But after this training, you will probably be able to do many things at the time, and just typos will never happen again. Yeah. Crucial multitasking. So please, here is a QR code.
You guys know what to do?
Yeah.
If not, ask someone else. Not me. Doesn't work? Please just give me confirmations. Sometimes it works. You did. Okay, thank you very much. Directional communication with the audience.
Okay.
All right, good to go. You did it? No? No? Yeah, I like this song. There we go.
So we can go.
Rami, you going to go? Yeah, cool.
Sure.
Okay. I quit my screen and hand over back to you.
So, Walter.
Yes.
I don't want to bother you more, but I need to. So you are grammarian of today, so please come here. Yeah, if you can, and share your report.
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to kick it off as a grammarian. I have a couple of minutes to say and asking you, how many times did you hear the word independence being used?
6 months.
Yes, okay. Now, who did say it? Do we know? Who didn't say independence? Who didn't say the word? Correct. Randal said it once at least. Who said it? Alan said it, correct. And this guy? Roman said it as well. Yes, and that is true. That is very good because independence was the word of the day and we try to implement it. So it's very easy that once you're on stage, you implement also the reality you're in, and the task was given and delivered very nicely. Now, in terms of speaking about grammars and phrases, probably, one very nice thing, I don't know if this is Anglo-American, is always the thing is, I'm gonna to do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna to do. I had one teacher, I think this is the guy sitting in the back there, he was saying, Walter, it sounds much better if you pronounce it properly, I'm going to, so that people really hear what you are saying. And I won't pinpoint who was saying what, but keep in mind, it is always easier for our ears to hear the clear words. But I know it is a probably Anglo-American way to use the short ways. Also, Australians, I think, are doing this very often. Besides that, how was it for you to understand what people are saying for the audience? You speak to me, I can't hear you. Yeah, go ahead. Could you understand things?
Yes.
Good. Could you?
It was all right. Although the online speakers were a bit more difficult to understand.
Due to?
Because of the sound.
Yes. Okay. Why I'm saying that is because I don't like the approach we used to have. So, oh, that was the wrong thing. That was the wrong thing. Because reality is about what about the audience? Can the audience follow what's going on? And that is the crucial thing if the message comes across. That's why we're not going to pinpoint. So based on that, I think the grammarian's report is done with this, and I'm going to hand over back to the general evaluator. Thank you very much, Roman.
Yes, thank you very much. And we have another team from the evaluation team who will come here and make a quiz for us. So please, Anastasia, come here.
Thank you, Roman. So Walter has already started doing my job. That's fine and amazing. I will just try to continue his speech by asking you, you need to respond just by raising your hand, because the first I'm asking you. You guys, you guys online, please write your answers in the chat. I can see it here, so please fingers on the keyboard. And the first question is about Walter, of course. When he wrote this word of the day, independence, he made a typo mistake. What was it? What was the word that he has written? I don't know. Yeah? Yeah? And what was the word? Do you remember?
It was defense.
That is the one. Yes, yes. Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Another question is about Randal. In simple one, when Randal went to Irkutsk, what was the weather? Yes, please.
It was -15.
Yes, that is right. Thank you. And the second question related to Randal as well. In his speech, there was a goat. What was the name of that goat? Yeah. Yes, you also used that in your evaluation, I believe. All right. One question is about our Toastmaster of the day. He said us a quote, a Russian quote. What was it? Yes.
Between the first and second and the first, there is a short break.
Yes, we don't know what is it in English, but we would translate it like this from Russian. Yeah. That sounded funny. Yeah, thank you. What is the name of the country and what is the appropriate pronunciation of the country that cares not about economics but about happiness? Yes. Thank you, with the long I and stress on the second vowel. Yeah. And the last question is from the speech of the Toastmaster of the day. Who is the one who should shoot a film about Russian independence? What? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much, Anastasia, for your wonderful questions. So, actually, I'm a general evaluator. So now I will evaluate everything that wasn't evaluated before. So that's why I will evaluate starting from our Toastmaster. Toastmaster, you did a great job. I like you were smiling, you were properly dressed, and actually you were in time. When I moved here in actually 12, exactly 12, and I was a little bit late, but I thought it actually started. You were really ready. I saw it in your posture that you were ready to start, but we need to solve some technical issues, and this is actually a drawback, because for me, when you are not in time, you are not that professional. So it's just like amateur person or amateur team that doing something. So if you want to look professional, probably you want to be always in time and maybe exactly in time. That is what we can do. What I like here in our equipment, I like this table actually. I don't know, remember, was it here before? No, but it's perfect. So, and we have 2 seats here to sit down, not just like to mess and searching for taking a seat. So this table is most valuable equipment of the day. I don't like these cables. So it's actually, they prevent us from walking from here and they look ugly. I don't know if the people probably they can't, from online, they cannot see them, but they are really ugly and yeah. Okay, but I don't know how to solve this problem, so I just criticize it here. Yeah. For table topic monster, actually, I think this is really like a monster level of table topics. I really amazed from time to time how you imagine them. Maybe there was in South Park there was some movie when they used Lapanti. They just give you some ideas like some crazy stuff. I don't know how you get it, but this was perfectly suited, and it was very interesting when you Googled and looked. Except the question was easy for me. I think this idea is wonderful. I never saw it before, and it was cool, really cool, and exactly what people maybe should expect from the topic of today. So it was perfectly connected. For the evaluation session, Walter was an orchestraman today, so that's why he was like coming here and did a professional evaluation still, but I saw he was a little bit tired and he was like maybe not that personal as he used to be when he's not an orchestraman, but just an ordinary man. Anyway, you did it good. I would recommend, but I understand that probably because of your tiredness, so maybe a little bit more emphasis on the major points and a little bit personal, like personal to our speaker on the line, right? Tatenda, great evaluation. So when I heard your evaluation, I remind about all books of Toastmaster when they say just recapitulate the things that the speaker said. I understand, yeah, he recapitulates the major things so everybody remembers reminds what the person was talking about. Then you used strong points, and I think that was very specific, and your intonation was very personal. I think to Randal, it's up to him to judge how useful they were for him, but as a delivery, it was great. So Rami, Saeed, it's interesting to judge about you. I actually presented a speech, and I found your evaluation actually very perfect. So it was very, so I can judge that these specific points that you pointed to me, they were very useful for me. So now I really understood that maybe I did a little bit less connection with the audience that I should be done, and I will figure out. So I think your relation was very professional and was really great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it a lot. So, okay. So as a summary, I would say that the meeting went really great. So I am impressed actually with how this hybrid meeting goes, because we actually see the people who are online, and they are really a part of our team and part of this meeting. So it's really impressive here to be here and to see people from different countries and from different cities. And I liked the organization in general. Probably we will lack a little bit of members. That's why we need to share many roles. And the one thing to improve for me is timing and start of the meeting, because this is actually the exact thing that can be improved and can be measured and easy to understand if we are on time or out of time. I think that basically that's all. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for your valuable feedback, and always stick to the points, like this and this and that. Very nice spot. The last but not the least, the awarding session. Do we have the field certificates for our people? Okay, we can just imagine them. Today we have two contestants, actually 3 contestants. The names of first 2 I know. The third probably will be introduced by Walter. And the winner of today's prepared speeches Konstantin. Is Malashin. Please come back. Thank you for your service. And yeah, so shall we have a picture or something?
So okay.
Mr. President, yes. Will you join us on this?
Sorry. Okay. How do you do it? I don't know. Okay.
Nice.
Don't call mommy, just make a picture. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. No.
We're working on it.
The second contest was table topics. Second, please. Yeah. Same week. So you went to the table topics contest. Welfare.
Thank you.
Have you presented the table topics? No. just read the
You
wrong message in Telegram. Again intrigued. And then Valeria, please.
Hold on. Did he participate in table topics? Oh, God. Congratulations. Thank you, Valeria.
Good job, Valeria. And as I said before, I have no idea about the best evaluators. Walter, please present.
You have your fucking mobile phone.
Yeah, it's the Tatenda.
It is.
Where's the No one drink this time.
Go ahead. No, yeah, like that.
Right.
You know, like
Well
that.
done, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good, Tatenda. Thank you very much.
Tatenda, you actually can stay on the stage just for a second. Yeah, because, sorry, Walter, it was not planned. He approached me at the short break. He, as a former president of the club, wants to tell you a few words about the benefits of being in Toastmasters, and I will not just drop spoilers here and just let the speak.
Thank you very much. All right, so to start off my speech, I just want to kind of paraphrase a quote from Steve Jobs. So adding a little bit of Tatenda spice to it, you know? Yeah. So what I want to say is life doesn't make sense looking forward, but looking backwards, it does. Unfortunately, when you're going through life, you can only live it forward, not backwards. In simpler words, the decisions that you make today affect tomorrow. So when you're making decisions, always think yourself as not one person, but a community of you yourself today, you yourself yesterday, and you yourself in the future. Going on, I want to share a little bit about my experiences, like, you know, my journey in Toastmasters, because I believe it's going to help those that are new to Toastmasters, who have no idea what's going on, who are interested and so forth, and those that are incoming committee members for Toastmasters. So at the beginning, when I started off my journey with Toastmasters, I made a lot of mistakes. So the first time I attended was actually back in high school. I completely botched, so failed my first speech. So it was a table topic speech. Terrible, absolutely horrible. And it was from there that they were making a selection for future Toastmasters. So I actually wasn't even selected as a Toastmaster from there. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then I came to Russia, and 3-4 years down the line, I discovered, oh, there's a Toastmasters club here in Saint Petersburg. So I decided to attend a meeting. On my first meeting, there was a chance for me to take part in table topics, but the topics were difficult. So unfortunately, I did not take part, which was, again, I felt, you know, like, oh, like I'm losing the chance. I keep failing and so forth. But at the end of that meeting, I actually got a chance to speak. So it wasn't actually table topics, but it was a chance to introduce myself. And I used that opportunity to kind of tell a sort of life story about myself. And I felt pretty good after that meeting. And that was like the first little, spark that I got. And come the next meeting, again, I tried to just be a little bit better, just a little bit. I didn't strive for perfection, just a little bit better. And reiterated that again and again and again. 1 year later, I decided to run for president of the club. I did end up being president of the club, ran the club for, I believe it was a year. Later, and then after that, I went on to actually start my own club in the company that I was working with. Went from 0 members to about 40 people at that particular meeting. I left that company, and then later on, I started my own little community around a topic that I generally enjoy, which is, Bitcoin, crypto, generally blockchain related stuff. Built that community from zero all the way up to, so currently we're at 49 members. The basic gist of what I'm, trying to say here is, if you don't understand any of what I've just mentioned to you. So in conclusion, the people that are new here, when you come up here, don't strive for perfection. Just strive to be a little bit better than you were the last time. So as time goes, you just get better and better and better. But for that, you need a little bit of consistency. So all you need is just a little push. Just do it for the first time. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how I went from making mistakes and being able to build communities, so leading people around things that I am personally, interested in. And to those incoming committee members, again, same thing applies for you guys. Don't strive for perfection, but strive to be just a little bit better than what you were the last time you did your role. With that being said, thank you guys very much. And
thank you for the very inspiring speech. And here we come to the end of our meeting. And I'm passing the control back to our current president of the club, Walter Schwarz.
Thank you very much, dear Mr. Toastmaster. Rudolf? No, Konstantin? Kuts? Yes, thank you very much, Konstantin. Before we're closing off the meeting, we have another certificate to give to, no? Yes, but no, no, because they're not there. We have another certificate, and for you guys who are wondering, what is all the certificates? You have to understand, when you join Toastmasters, you have pathways which you pick for yourself: dynamic leadership, innovative planning, and so forth. And based on those, when you achieve your speeches, opening speech, next speech, and so forth, you'll receive a certificate of completion that you can tick the box, and then you're done with your path. So it's very crucial to have KPIs to move forward. Now, Ellen Akamba, I need to tell you something. Can you hear and see me now? Give me a yes or a yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I herewith certify that you are completed for achieving level 4 of innovative planning, and I'm handing over this to you in this way. I'm going to send it to you as well in a digital way, so we cannot forget it that you deserve this. We're going to clap our hands to give you the credit for doing so. I have more certificates here as well, but Thomas Wader is not here, Michael and Valeria as well. Thus, we're going to hand them over when they're going to be here. Cut a long story short, dear ladies and gentlemen, we are going to finish it here with our Toastmaster session live stream. I have to mention, you've been a nice, great, tiny family audience today. Usually we have at least half or 2/3 of it. Probably you are the people who were not binge drinking yesterday from Mother Russia. I was. Well done you. Thank you for being our guests. And if you're interested, leave us a note and we can talk to you how to become a member of this journey. Thank you very much to our online audience, and Rami and Alan, who were joining us from, Rami, you're back in Dubai or Saint Petersburg? Dubai, number 1.
Moscow.
Oh, Moscow back. Okay, then welcome back. I didn't realize that. Alan from Moscow as well. Thank you for joining us and keep in touch. Dear audience, we're closing the meeting off. We'll see you in 2 weeks, if you wish, back in the White Room in Mayakovskaya Library. And until then, it is on Saturday, or double check the agenda of the library, as you probably did. It has always the latest dates when we meet. Bi-weekly on Saturdays, 12 o'clock, Mayakovskaya. Thank you very much, and let's give it a round of applause for participating.